And we are live on X. Everybody, we got two legends in the space. I'm glad I can actually get them on here together and I can just kind of sit back and listen. These are two people I've been following for quite some time. Uh, Vivi, Vivi Mason, she's amazing. I've been following her for like 10, maybe 12, 13 years on Twitter before X. She's works in the industry. Both of these individuals work in pharmaceutical industries. I work on the research side as a research site owner, and so we all are in the space, and we all do this as a hobby. And we found a way to use our knowledge to find ancillary passions in the form of investing, which actually I don't know about you guys, but forces me to do my job better because it forces me to stay current on the science. Otherwise, it's very easy to just get good at your job and like you just do the same things over and over. You become a robot. And this is actually a way to get like your artistic, creative side out. Both of these people do it very well. Vivi also is very good at like when a neighbor's dog comes charging. That one got famous. You put that dog down. You fought for your dog. That scares the shit out of me now. Every time I walk my dog, I'm paying attention.
I know. Gotta have the mace spray now.
Oh man,
good for you.
Yeah, I gotta send you that video, Biotech. And then we got Biotech Scanner, who is somebody that you guys know from my channel, but we kind of share the same interest in companies. I found him after I was looking for confirmation of my own thoughts on AQST. I found him, and he introduced me to IOVA, which I'm now pretty bullish on. And those are my only two like holdings in the biotech space, but we're here to just discuss those two. Maybe what other questions you guys have. Thank you, Trumpo Drong Un. He said North Korea invested in IOVA. North Korea retirement funds, pension funds, invested in IOVA. So we're here to discuss. Thank you for joining. Put your comments here. Like I said, we have two legendary people on. If you guys want to introduce yourself maybe a little more formally, and then we'll get right into some of this conversation.
Go ahead, Vivi.
Hi, ladies first, I guess. My name is Vivi Mason. I've been in the biotech industry since 2005. Then I'm going to review how old I am. My first company was Eli Lilly. So I worked for Eli Lilly. I worked for Novartis. I worked for Gilead. So I've been in the industry for a long time, and I think that's one of my passions in biotech. And then I realized that biotech is like it's like hitting a lotto ticket, right? I lost a lot of money in biotech, so I became a lot smarter how to invest in biotech. I'm very careful. And then I'm still in pharma, but a couple hours a day, I do have I have a trading community that I lead of over 500 people and a lot of women. So it's a community with a lot of moms, which I'm very proud of. So yeah, that's it. I'm like a jack of all trades, I guess.
Awesome. Just first time meeting Vivi here, and
yes, pleasure.
We have a lot more in common than we thought.
Yeah.
Looking forward to get to know you, Vivi, and thank you, Dan, for providing this channel for us. And so, but I have done pharmaceuticals for 19 years now, and originally I wanted to go to med school, and things in life happened and didn't happen. But the passion that I have for medicine just never waned, and my passion to learn new things and how things work. And then when I get into the pharmaceutical industry, I wanted to learn even more. It got even more exciting. So I'm very thankful for the companies that had hired me and allowed me to grow, intellectually as well in medicine. And now I'm just using my knowledge, my experience, and bring it to the community. And hopefully that we could make profits together.
I think that's what you guys two have in common, and I'm starting to learn as well. Mark Twain had a quote. He said, "Good judgment comes from bad experience, which comes from bad judgment." and I've definitely followed that route. I got my ass kicked by a bunch of these biotechs, but
Me
then I
too.
learned. I think we all did, kind of,
Yeah,
you know, and
we all
you learn the
I
hard
gotta get
way.
my charger. Excuse me.
Yeah, sure thing. So, Vivi, you and I met like around the Chem Farm days. I've always
Yeah.
been intrigued by you because you were saying female empowerment, like a lot of your clients are women. You know, in our industry, it is dominated by women, whether you're on the sales side or the research side, it's women. But on the investing side, as you know, you're a rarity, you're a unicorn.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you
So
think
I'm
that
going
helped you, like
to
in your
inspire.
branding?
Huh?
In your as far as branding or like standing out, do you like you must have it harder than most because most people are used to like dudes talking about these stocks, right? And so
Yeah.
you've got to like fight several battles being a female in this space, but you've done it for, like I said, I've been following you like a decade and a half, maybe.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think it's only been like a decade, to be honest. I think it's
Okay.
2016 when I started. But I
Okay.
mean, it's close. Yeah, I used to be on a Benzinga all the time. I guess on Benzinga, I had my own show on Benzinga, and that took, too much of my time. Time is money, and you don't get paid there.
Yeah.
So it's, but my passion for biotech, I'm just being a lot more cautious for sure in what I invest because everyone knows. I mean, I'll give you guys a really quick example. IDERA had this melanoma, like the Baker brothers had so much money in it. And you buy them early on, and by the time I bought them, how many times they diluted? By the time I broke even, it was $32 a share.
Yeah.
$32 a share. So I got my ass, sorry, my French, kicked.
Yeah.
So then I realized, okay, we needed to invest in companies that are close to PDUFAs or, that are actually have a proven clinical, have a proven they got past the phase 3. Because trying to invest in phase 1 it's a shoot in the foot. It's you can do that as just a swing, as a trading, but you don't want to own that long term,
Yep.
And you could get lucky, or you could get, by the same token, get unlucky. More often than not, you're getting unlucky in those things.
It's a delusion. They needed to raise money all the time,
Although somebody told me yesterday, they're like, oh, like they're talking about all these things about IOVA, and then they say, well, yeah, but the elephant in the room is their lack of money. And it's like, well, all these biotech small cap elephant in the room is this lack of money.
At least they have something proof. It's something that is
Mhm.
amazing that they can get investors to come in or a buyout. I mean,
Yeah.
our wish that's going to be a buyout, right? So it's a lot easier to invest in a company that actually has an amazing product than a company that it's still in phase 1 or 2 and it has a promising product.
Right.
I think the hard part that I look at experts like you guys, because I'm not really an expert. I'm trying to become an expert, but
Oh, please.
no, I'm not. I mean, I work in the clinical research space, so like sometimes I've tried to pick stocks based on who I worked with. I usually get my ass burned. All right,
Now
but
you're amazing. What are you talking about?
but they all gonna dilute at some point, right? So
Right.
it's hard to use that as the only criteria. Because they're all, even the good ones, AQST, they've been accused of that. They all do. But some of them just never get out of that cycle.
Exactly. They never got the phase 1 or 2 either, or the cycle. At least they, IOVA has an approved product, and AQST is going to have an approved product. Has the concept, the concept has already been proved.
Right.
So that's my point. And then I'll tell you, anyone that is listening, you want to start investing, you start accumulating. So when it dilutes, you buy more. You never go all in. And that was one of my biggest mistakes. I went all in with 20,000 shares. 20,000 shares, spent 80,000 and then left with the 5,000. So because you just have the promise,
Which one was that one?
I lost so much
KMPH?
money on IDERA and BCRX,
BCRX.
and then ADRX when that failed. I mean, ADRX, I couldn't understand why they failed that drug and then they brought it back. But management hasn't been that great, and the whole Medicare, so collectively I lost so much money on these companies, because I went all in. So you wanted to dollar cost average these companies throughout the years,
Yeah, that's I would say, besides picking the right company, Vivi and Dan, dollar cost averaging is one of the best truest method of investing there is, because
Especially
you
Kyle.
could never time it correctly, right?
Yeah.
And so it's so funny because people just assume the ticker that I call out, I have the best average. 90% of the time, the people that follow me, they have better averages than me. You just don't know what it's gonna do. But
Exactly.
like you, yeah, being a smart investor, you start collecting. You start collecting. And with biotech, like you said, it's very high risk. But on my checklist, the thing is, if you found a ticker that's undervalued, that really helps out tremendously. And then after that, you see what kind of drugs do they have, right?
Yeah.
What is and how is that drug? What phase is it in, right? And then let's say if it is successful in bringing it to the market, what is currently out on the market right now?
Exactly.
Where is it? How is it going to compare to what is out there? Or is it the one and only? And that's what I like, right? IOVA is got all of those things. It's undervalued. It has an approved product that is one and only, and it has huge catalysts coming up: non-small cell lung cancer, endometrial cancer, and then the next generation till the anti-PD-1, till it's kind of like Amtagvi, the current drug, and Keytruda combined. So you have these three massive catalysts coming up. And then, like you said, Vivi, they are already generating revenue. They are on pace, they said, to make about 250 to 300 million dollars. That helps tremendously if you are worrying about dilution, which is kind of part of this whole growing thing. But what's awesome about Iovance is that they have 22 trials going on right now. If they would just stop everything else they're doing, they're actually going to be almost profitable, right?
Yeah.
So they are reinvesting into themselves. And so when you, so you got to be picky. You got to be very picky, and then you got to dollar cost average, and you can't go all in.
Yeah. No, you cannot go all in. Not in biotech.
Yeah.
I
What do
learned
you
a hard lesson.
What do you guys think about dollar? So this is a good example. So I've been in AQST since $2. I'm very happy with my average. So when I see it at these levels, which is not even overvalued, it's still undervalued. Like there's a catalyst coming up. I don't want to buy more as much as I do like an IOVA, even though maybe it's just as good an investment, just because I don't want to mess with my average, which is like, I don't know, it's like a psychological thing. Like, why would I take more risk? In a way, you're like adding more risk by increasing your average, even though maybe it's the rational thing to do. When you have something more attractive like IOVA, or other people go to other stuff that they didn't maybe research as well, they say, oh, it's cheap, I'm going to just buy this instead. And then they get burned. So I think a lot of investors are afraid when they got the right one to not continue to invest in it, but to look for other stuff. And I think that's where people, me in the past, that's where I got burned. And I always try when I do my due diligence to look for reasons why I should sell. And if I can't find like a reasonable reason, not the short people talking shit on Twitter, but like real things, like what did the FDA say? What did Prasad say about this kind of stuff? What is Macquarie thinking? I look at that kind of stuff, and then I look at the other stocks, and I try to analyze them through that framework. How do you guys go through this thought process?
When I have my eyes on a company, I look, this is what I do a lot. When I have an eyes on a company and the company is low in cash, I wait for the offering, and this is the perfect time to get in after an offering, because it's especially when after they close,
Smart.
If I see a company that it's low in cash, and they, let's assume a company has only cash up until March or July, I'll just wait a little bit, because with an offering, the price is going to go down. But as soon as they close and announce the closing of the offering, that's the perfect time to start accumulating. And
So they're all low in cash, but like, what's the bench? Like you said, 6 months, 9 months, or what?
Yeah, so I mean, because it's gonna go down in price. So yeah, I would have like, yeah, you can get a little, but don't go all in, because once they do an offering, that's your opportunity to dollar cost average again. You know, so that's why I say you want to go in fractionals to biotech, because you buy, you know, 5,000 shares, you buy, I don't know, $30,000 worth of AQST, because I know there's a lot of people that do that, and they do an offering and then it drops to $5, and then you don't have another $30,000 to put down to buy.
And then they sell it. They're like, "Fuck it, this sucks. Management sucks. You know, why are they?"
let me take a 40% loss. I mean, it's immediately, like, you know, like when my friend told me to buy IOVA, immediately it dropped 20%. So I waited. I didn't go like, you know, like I wasn't like, oh my God, and then to get into IOVA. Like I waited a little, and literally like within 5 days I had it down to 20%. I'm like, I'm buying. So it's like what they say, buy when it's ugly, right? You want to buy when it's ugly, and you just buy a little bit each time.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. And another thing is on the opposite side of that. Okay, so every situation is kind of different, because smart companies, what they do is they take advantage of catalysts, and in the case of IOVANs, they have three huge ones. And what they did that way, I thought it's really smart, is they reset their ATM. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And they know what's up. And the good thing about ATM is it kind of protects investors like us, you know, that they tap it when they need it, and or they can wait until it's much higher, rather than the direct offering that you see, and that's really harmful to investors. And that's what I like IOVANs, is the fact that they reset their ATM, and they know they have three powerful, if you want to include earnings, Q3 earnings coming up as a catalyst that could serve as one as well. So what I'm thinking is, if I were IOVANs, and if I know that my earning is going to be decent for Q3, I would save all of those data release, okay, and let that Q3 set a base and building investor confidence, and then just totally destroy short with the three massive catalysts, one after another. And then you can tap in, and you can wait until $7-8, and you can tap in as much as you need to. So that's what
you could be an investor relation, because there's so many biotechs that announce the worst PRs at the worst times.
Yes.
And I'm like, I was talking to a couple CEOs, and I, you know, the CEO for LCTX, which I feel like
Brian Cully.
Brian, you know, and I think it's going to be an amazing company too, but now it's still very cheap and too in the early stages. But, you know, I was talking to Brian, I'm like, what's wrong with some of these investor relations? Like people, they like you would be a great one, biotech scanner. Like you got to know when to time it.
Yes.
And Brian was teasing me saying, Vivi, you would have been a great investor relation, because it is everything too. It's the time where you place your press release, you know, it makes a huge difference.
It is. And you know what, Vivian, the new CFO, love her, Coraline Roche. The very first interview that she did with Wells Fargo, she mentioned the low share price. She is aware of that. And then the chief EVP of Chief of Medical Affairs, he said, we want to release these data in a peer review. And you and I know what that means. All of us know what that means.
Peer review is huge. New England Journal of Medicine.
Yes, it is in a well-respected journal. And then he goes, and then we get that, and then we will release that via P. And that is huge, because instead of releasing that at like an ASCO or a CC, it takes the element of surprise away, and it allows shorts to prepare, you know. So by doing this, So they know. I mean, I love the new CFO.
Strategic. So you like how strategic they are as well.
Yes.
They're not
Yeah.
how to play. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
But do you guys think that's so? There's bull and bear case argument for that kind of thinking. Like, there's one I noticed being a podcaster. Like, to me, it's a red flag if I have a relatively small channel. I'm growing it, but at the time when I started, all these penny stocks, their investor relation would email me, "Hey, interview our CEO," and I was like, "All right, sure, let's do it. Why not?" To me,
Yeah.
that's a red flag. Like when I find my own company, like AQST, I
Yeah.
email them until I'm blue in the face. I'm probably in all of their spam folders. They're not replying back to me. And to me, that's almost like, even though I'm like a little bit offended, it's a green flag as an investor, right? And then it's related to like this timing, but I don't know. Some people might say, well, I don't care biotech about that. I just want them to focus on the fundamental. Who cares? Everything will take care of itself. If they try to time too much, then it seems like they're playing games and they're trying to get retail on their side. Like there's a lot of nuance to this kind of
Yeah.
argument.
Like I have like when I was interviewing CEOs, a lot of times when the companies are really, really small, and they don't have an approved drug and they really need investors, like they have a promising drugs. I have no problem even if there's clinical behind it and the company's solid. Some of them are paying, they even pay for people to promote them, because what happened is, how do you get retail investors to come in if you don't know what the company, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying like they're all pump and dumps. I've seen where I was promoting, LCTX, because I believe in a company. They have a partnership with Roche. They're going to have a drug for AMD, there's nothing for that.
Fair enough.
And it's out, it's T cells too. They call themselves the Amazon of a cell therapy.
Yeah.
So
LCTX was one of them that reached out. They were the one maybe green flag of all the other ones.
Brian was telling me, he's a local in San Diego. He's like,
Yeah.
Vivi, we don't have an approved product. Once in a while, the press release is going to come that we have a partnership with the Roche. But, they're dying to get people to know the company. So not just on a finance side, but they need also the retail investors. So
retail is important at times.
I feel like retail it's very important too, so I feel like, obviously institutional, it's going to be more important, but I do believe the LSCTX has a shot. If you go to the website, there's still early stages, but I've seen patients regain their sight. There's testimonials,
Their website's amazing. I have them in my retirement. I don't touch it because Brian, just based off of Brian.
Yeah, he's a great
I think he's a
CEO.
winner.
I like Brian. I sold because then they dropped to 70 cents, and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm waiting to get to a little closer to, I'd rather pay more, guys, than be stuck with a bag for 40% down. I'd rather pay more and be in a company that it's like this one, IOVA or AQST, that is in a late stages, already has a commercial or is about to get approved. I don't care how much I'm gonna pay. I'd rather pay more than buying a biotech for $1 and then get bagged for another 40% down. So
so you want late phase, right? You're looking at
late
later
phase.
phase.
I do. I mean, late phase. If I'm gonna buy in the early stages, it's gonna be a lotto ticket. Let's put it this way. Oh, that looks promising. Rare disease here. I'll buy 1,000 shares as a lotto ticket. But don't expect me to put any more money into it until I see there's proof of a concept.
That's one change that I have made in my strategy in picking biotech is, one, it's gotta be phase 2. So that's the difference. Okay, phase 2 pivotal. That means they're gonna be up for accelerated approval. That's like
usually oncology, rare disease.
Right. But
oncology, rare disease. It's for me. It's the top ones, because those are the ones that actually there's an unmet need. You want to go for the unmet need. You don't want to go. So IQST is not a rare disease, but there's an unmet need, especially for little kids. But I will not invest. I can trade, but I'm not investing in anything besides rare disease and oncology. That is where the unmet need is. I'm not investing in another Me Too. I'm not investing in another cholesterol drug. I'm not another nasal spray.
I'll save one for the end. I want your thoughts.
And Vivi, and you probably done enough research on IOVAs, you probably know, but they're in cancers, right? Blood cancer and solid cancer, right?
It's the first one approved too for T-cell therapy.
So the blood cancer is only 9 or 10%. Where IOVAs is focusing is on the other 90%.
Yeah.
Where there is like you said, huge unmet needs, but they also have blood cancer in their pipeline too. IOV 2000. So I mean, I have predicted that IOVAs will be a household name in the future in solid tumors. Okay, everybody's going to know about it. But I think before that happens, Merck, BMX, or AstraZeneca is going to buy it out. There's no way that a big pharma company is going to let a small company like this just dominate the entire cell therapy space. So I think it's going to be bought out. And the billionaire that invested in IOVAs,
yes, I saw that.
He always sell it. He always sell it. He never keeps it. That's what he does.
What about his arch rival? We could watch. I don't know if you guys follow Summit. It's very interesting to me. SMMT. They're in the same space. This is Bob Dugan. There's very polarized because half the people love it. The other half seem to be like me. I don't hate it, but I think they're not obeying Prasad's rules. And you don't have to like the man. Okay, disagree with him, but he's literally in charge of CBER. And you are not listening to what his blueprint in his book. He wrote it. If you want your drug in the US, you need to do US trials. And you need to show overall survival. What they're doing, overall response rate, China. And then they think the stock's going up. Actually, today took a little bit of a dump, but I don't know if it's related or not.
So on the opposite end, IOVAs hire ex-FDA officers to their staff, upper management, okay? And every single trial that is going on right now is designed with the FDA, okay? Every single one of them, okay? And then on the front line, metastatic melanoma is done with the FDA and EMA. So, I mean, and Brian Gassman, the medical affairs guy, that they are in constant communications with the FDA all the time. And this is, I mean, they are lockstep. And
AQST as well. But why would anyone not do that? Is it just they can't afford it, or they don't have the connection, or the hubris, or what?
You're talking about Summit, right? Isn't it? Their investigational drug was better than Keytruda, right?
Yeah, but in China.
In China. Yeah, I don't understand. You want an approved drug in the United States, maybe because it's cheaper to do drugs studies in China. I don't understand. It makes
that for sure.
Well, I tweeted this out. If you could understand the corruption in some of these countries, you would never accept results from them. It is so deep. The corruption is so deep that there is no way you could trust those results. No way.
Yeah.
And maybe with another administration that was more globalist centric, but this one is not. This the opposite administration. You want to do this?
Yeah, because they consider it a national security issue.
Yeah. They literally wrote about it. Both of them wrote a book. Prasad and Makary both said basically the same thing in their book.
Yeah, no,
and then here's Summit with 15 billion market cap. They're celebrating of this, and I guess they're going to do overall survival in the U.S. because I know they have some U.S. studies too. But all this news so far has been about the China stuff.
So you don't know if they're tweaking the data. How can how can you trust the clinical trial sites in China? I don't know. You cannot trust anything that's coming from China.
Can you trust the trial sites in Arizona?
Sometimes. Depends who you ask.
Somebody's asking with the fewer than 49 trading days left this year, do you think IOVA will release all the results in a single PR, or they'll space them out? If they're smart, they're going to space them out. They're going to be
different ones. Yeah,
three,
because that I would sell all of my shares if they share all of these 3 results in one PR, because that means I have invested in a stupid management.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't do that. You cannot do that when you have lung cancer by itself. Not to be pumpy here, it could be up 300%. Think about this. Because the market for non-small cell lung cancer is so massive compared to the market cap, the current market cap of IOVA. It could easily move 300%. Why would you do that in one PR?
Yes, no, it makes no sense. You want to leave, you want to give you a little bit each time, you know, to help the stock.
Yes, definitely.
Do you guys think, so with IOVA, you know, I think that one is, there's a lot of going on as far as like unmet need, first in class, their own infrastructure. I don't know, it's similar to Tesla in a way, like they had to build the infrastructure first, which is expensive, which is why people are worried, extra worried with that one about the cash and maybe dilution. With AQST seems almost, if you've studied it, almost a sure thing. Nothing is a sure thing. I mean, you don't have 100% chance of anything, but people are realistically saying it will double upon approval. Like that, to me, I don't know which one is a better, more attractive at this point in time, or just do a little bit of both, or what are you guys thinking?
What is a market cap for each one of them?
They're both about 800 million, actually. Last I checked.
Okay.
This one is easy for me.
I know. I think that the one, obviously, IOVA is going to be better long term, just because of the broader pipeline, you know, and the unmet needs that they have. Where AQST, it only has two potential products, you know, and obviously there's a $1 billion market for the EpiPen. But how much of that chunk you're gonna get, we don't know how much of that chunk we're gonna be able to get. So definitely in terms of cost benefit and market cap, IOVA, it's a much cheaper option at this level, especially dollar cost average level, you know. I would suggest to really get a lot of leaps on IOVA. I think this is a great opportunity just to buy the 2028, 2027 leaps, you know.
You need to show me how to do that, Vivi. I don't know how to do any of that. I would love.
Oh my God, I love leaps. I have.
You gotta join her class.
Yeah, you gotta join my class. I'm gonna do options queen. I used to be called the biotech queen, but but because I wanted to make money quicker. And options, you can make a lot of money a lot quicker, and it's, for me, is more exciting. You know, what I make in options, I will invest into biotech, but it's really hard to day trade biotech. But options, you can. I have leaps for Tesla, for PayPal, and for IOVA. So you can buy leaps, and if you're like sheep, you can just watch the stock grow into those leaps, and by the time the leaps there, it's up 1,000%, 2,000%, and they're very cheap right now. The calls for IOVA, it's very cheap. So you got. I'll teach you, Biotech Scanner, how to pick, because you want to pick ones with a biggest open interest, because you don't want it to. You want a high liquidity, because if there's news and you have a chance to sell it for 100%, why not? And then you can get back in. So.
Unless it's on Robinhood, where yesterday AWS, you couldn't get out of anything. That should piss me off.
I was up 100% on Rocket Labs, and I would have gone to 150%. I had to close it, and after I closed everything, I couldn't even look at my screens anymore. So luckily, I sold on time, but it was crazy yesterday.
What's funny is, since Vivi and I are in the same industry, I was almost expecting her answer to be the answer that she gave when she was comparing AQST and IOVANS. The first thing that she went to is the pipeline. When you are in this industry, a company is only as good as the pipeline.
Now, you guys know. I mean, you guys win awards and all this shit. What?
But think about this, okay? Think about this. This is how much undervalued Iovance is. The company said that the very first indication that current drug that it is on the market right now, it could generate just in the US more than $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is the very first indication of the first drug, it could be profitable already. And now
So-
you're thinking there's about 5 or 7 indications after that are much bigger. And that's why I keep using the same comparison with Tesla and Iovance. So imagine Tesla back then being profitable right after the Roadster model was produced. And that's exactly what we have here. But remember, Tesla did not become profitable until the Model 3, years later.
So let me ask a question. You guys said 800 million, right? 800 million.
More or less, like 800 million.
Just to have an idea how they calculate share from not market share. How do you say
market cap?
They usually do sales times 5. So if we are doing the $1 billion drug just there, that IOVA should be at least at a $5 billion company, and that's projection because of the sales. So it's definitely at this stage, it's so undervalued.
Wait, sales times what? I was going to ask you guys because you put on the sales side.
Sales times 5. That's how you should calculate.
I got you.
If you see a company that is a $5 billion company without an approved product, but the product is to potential to be $1 billion producing sales year over year, that's how they usually estimate what is the market cap should be for that.
So company. let me ask you guys then, as a relatively lay person compared to you guys. So there's risk with both Me Too and with a new drug, because with a new drug you don't have proof of concept that payers are going to pay it, right? This happened with Astaris, even though Astaris was Me Too because of ADHD, but it had like a different formulation. It was the Listerine strip. That's how I learned about AQST. It didn't sell. That company completely imploded. They came back as Zevra, doing all kinds of new shit. I haven't followed it. How do you analyze the potential problems with payers? Because most people don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that.
We both are in, like, that's what we do on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's
what happens. So this is what we do on a daily basis. This is what happens. Payers are moved by demand. Okay, so Astaris had a huge problem. I would have talked to friends of mine, psychiatrists, had no idea, never had a rep there. So you needed to do a really good execution. You have to a really good accounts team that is already prepping the payers before the drug. So the payers gonna have to literally be bought out in a clinical trial for that drug, and then you're gonna have an amazing team to execute. So what's to happen? I'm a patient, okay, and then I go in. I keep telling my doctor, Dr. Johnson, I want Astaris. I want Astaris. I want Astaris. Next, you know, another patient comes in. I want Astaris. The problem is they spend way too much money in commercial, right? But the salespeople are the heart of the company and the account. So what they should have done is you needed to create demand. And by creating demand, you needed to have contact with the doctors. So the doctors are the main in the insurance company doing prior authorization. So they'll keep pushing the prior authorizations. Okay, I don't want this drug. You know, the patient failed. I wanted this drug. So as much as push, so they take a look at 6 months. What is the demand? Because they don't want to pay full price. So they're like, wait a minute. The demand is huge. And they're charging me $5,000 instead of charging me $3,500. So let me go back and negotiate with them. So you can have an amazing drug, but you don't have a good payers team, and you don't have a good rep and good sales team, you're not going to be able to promote the drug, even if a drug is a miracle. So you have to have a combination of both. Do you agree with me, Biotech Scanner?
Well, that's exactly what it is. And the way to the current condition, and actually you seeing ARS doing this with Neffy. When they first launched Neffy, the copay was $25, right? Now it's $0 because that $25 did not create enough demand.
Yeah.
So now they have this $0 copay. And now, like Vivi said, the patient comes in, I want to switch to Neffy. And then you get another one, and then suddenly Blue Cross Blue Shield or United's getting all these calls and say, we better get on this formula, and we better get Neffy on. And that's how you drive demand. And it makes it also easier for the company to negotiate with the insurance company as well. So let's bring it now, tie that into Amtagvi and IOVA. You have no problem with demand because there's nothing else.
It's life or death. We saw Chris White. Vivi, I'm going to send you this book, all right, from Chris. We had this patient on the show. His life was saved from the Iovance's clinical trial, mucosal melanoma. He was given a week to live.
I know that he came on your show, and a friend of mine told me I want to check the interview. That's amazing. And he wrote a book about it.
He wrote the book.
And he's not going to have lunch here pretty soon too. So, but
that's why there was a fail. The marketing team sucked.
That shit scared me because I got everything right. I gambled, it got approved, and then it was just crickets. Like,
but I have the best advice for you when it comes to that. I have the best advice.
What is
you believe in a clinical trial, okay? The company now has to prove that they can sell, okay?
Right. But how do you know that? Like, as a
you sell up an approval, and then you buy back when you.
No matter what.
At least you want to sell half, because what happened is a company goes from $5 to $10 upon approval, but then they cannot sell anything.
Right.
And then so you want to see, are they producing a good quarter? You can have an idea in the first quarter of a sales if the company is going to do well. If they're showing up with the $2 million in sales, or $1 million in sales, or 20 prescriptions for the whole country, and you're like, okay, there's a miss here.
That's literally what happened with that one.
There's another one that I actually called on X4. Same thing. They have an approved product, and they sell maybe 1 or 2 each quarter. It's in rare diseases.
So we never escape a problem in Biotech Investor. We go from one milestone to the next. If we're lucky, we get through a few, and then it's like, okay, well, now we got to sell. And then, okay, now we got to expand. There's always potential for catastrophe.
So Elvis is here. He said he said 2 comments here. What is the chance of IOVA
to hold average or below average lung data, thus the peer review? Dan is keeping it neutral. Elvis, the more I own of a stock, the more skeptical I get, man. After KMPH, I learned my lesson, bro.
Okay, so what is the cost of goods? What are they talking about here?
Because Vivi, the 5X evaluation is correct, but IOVA's cost of goods sold are holding them back, in my opinion. So maybe you guys answer both of these. Lung bad data, possibility, bad lung data, and the cost of goods sold holding them back.
Okay, so I can answer that because I know this pretty well. With Amtagvi, okay, with a product that is highly complicated and expensive to produce, and I'm going to go back to the Tesla analogy again, in comparison again. Each roaster that Tesla sold and produced, they lost money because it hasn't scaled. Okay, Iovance is just now starting to scale. Okay, so when volume comes, then the cost goes down. That always is the case in any business. Okay, and so I was going to bring this up since this question came. The company did screw up in the launch of Amtagvi, but it's not catastrophic because I looked at it very carefully. So here's what happened. They have these authorized treatment center called ATCs.
Yeah.
What happened is these centers help them recruit patients for the trial. And then they converted them into ATC to sell Amtagvi. But these centers are also the CAR T centers. So they were counting on the same centers to send them a bunch of patients. As the launch went on, they realized, wait a minute, these centers are not giving us their own patients, getting their own patients. They are getting these patients from these community centers, hospitals. So they're like, what the heck is going on? Why are we not getting as many patients? Well, they figured out finally that these patients are coming from community hospitals. So what they're doing is converting those community hospitals into their own ATCs. So now they don't have to transfer the patients out. And what happens when you transfer a patient, just like a prescription from the doctor's office to the pharmacy, there's a change of a loss of a script. And Vivi knows very well about that.
Yeah.
So now, check this out. There are three things that are very important that's happening. One, community hospitals have a lot of patients. Two, they have healthier patients. Three, they don't have to refer out. So they, as soon as these patients fail first-line therapy, these oncologists can start them on AMTAGVI because it's right there. It's approved already.
In their infrastructure, ecosystem.
Yeah. And then four, they did something that is going to help them get bought out sooner, is they partner with InspiroGene by McKesson. And Vivi knows this. In the pharmaceutical industry, there is no bigger name in pharmaceutical product delivery than McKesson.
Yeah.
InspiroGene, what do? They belong to McKesson, but they specialize in CAR T treatments, TIL treatment, other complicated treatments. They do all of the logistics, the prior auth, the consultation with the patient, the consultation with the insurance company. They have their own oncologists on staff to convince the insurance company, hey, this patient failed first line. NCCN recommended AMTAGVI as true second line. This patient qualified. Now, this patient has your insurance and it's lowest branded copay. Let's get it done. Let's get it over with. So now, another thing is previously, these ATCs and community hospitals, they have to buy AMTAGVI from IOVA and then treat the patients, not knowing they're going to be reimbursed or not. Now, InspiroGene takes care of all of that for
That's
this
huge.
community
The
hospital. Yes,
huge.
and all of ATC, all over the countries, they just focusing on finding the patient and treating the patients because you know why? They don't treat the patients until InspiroGene give them the green light.
So they do the fighting for them.
They do everything, and I cannot tell you what a game changer this is unless you're in the business like Vivi and I. You don't appreciate this that much because
the logistics. That's huge because the doctors were afraid, the hospitals were afraid to prescribe because they did not know that they're going to get reimbursed.
Yes.
So it'd be like the equivalent, and there's no economics to do this, but like Eli Lilly paying Dr. Joe to have here's your prior auth person. They're just calling on your behalf all day. Maybe that's even illegal. I don't know. But in the case of AMTAGVI, because the price is so high because of the one-time treatment, it's economies of scale with this specialized company.
We have specialty pharmacies, like I'm in rare disease. So we have a specialized team in my company to make sure that we look at eligibility, zero copay. So we want to make sure that we will offer samples if there's a gap of, so we kind of, that team facilitates between the doctor and having the patients a drug. So it's very important to have the hub. So now pretty much what they have is a hub now. They have a hub.
So like in rare disease, it's compassionate use case? Is that what it, or something similar?
It has nothing to do with compassion. It's just rare disease. It's just, it's more expensive drugs, less patients. It's a lot of these drugs are complicated to write. So
Gotcha,
regular
gotcha.
pharmacies don't want to deal with it. So my drug, we only have specialty pharmacies that actually deal with my drug,
Okay.
and so they facilitate it's pretty much a hub. Having a hub for oncology and rare disease is very important.
So this is similar what IOVA's basically facilitated here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Okay.
they chose the leader. I mean, you can't get any bigger than McKesson.
Right.
That's just the way it is. And they picked the best. They picked the best company to do this. Okay. And so now with the 5-year retrospective data, and Vivi also knows this, rarely that a drug has the opportunity to prove itself that it's actually better in the real world than it was in clinical trial. And that's what exactly MTAPI did. They found out that healthier patients who receive 2 or fewer lines of treatment before getting MTAPI, the ORR is actually 61% versus 3 or more lines, only 33%. So that's what the community hospital brings, is healthier patients. They do better on MTAPI. It's really a win-win, because what happened is previously these patients found themselves in a death spiral. And that's exactly what Chris found out, is frontline treatment, okay, chemo, radiation, immunotherapy, keep failing, and then they start doing the cocktail thing, this combo with that, and it works for like 6 months, it comes back. But what MTAGRI is doing is like, what, hold my beer, let me take care of this. So it's a one-time treatment with the possibility of a cure for every single patient that gets on MTAGRI. That's just so amazing to me. And so what happened is it's a win-win for insurance, because these immunotherapy and chemo and radiation, it adds up really quickly. And then the quality of life, which is so important for these patients, they spend all their time in hospital, infusions after infusion. I would MTAG just one time, and then they're home for the rest of their lives.
That's the problem with traders not understanding the patient experience, because we've seen on X people talking shit, and then it's like, well, you know what chemo actually is, like a cycle? Do you actually understand? They don't know. They don't care.
Well,
I can see Biotech's gonna be in a good rap because he's very passionate. I can see you playing over there with the doctors.
What's your guys' go-to restaurant for bringing food? Or you're not allowed anymore?
We're not allowed to. We can bring food.
That's BS. They all bring food almost every day at the office.
We bring food because a lot of times they only do lunches, so that's only to have with the doctor, But we have to present. But we cannot take anyone out. So tonight I have a speaker talking to a group. That's why I have a dinner program. I cannot take doctors out to dinner. They have to be a presentation, a little mini conference.
What do you guys think of the future? Because I know you only got a little bit of time left, but the future of biotech, it's been an industry beat up this last decade. Do you think it's improving? Like there's talks of like this is the hot sector now. Or do you think it's going to be more of the same, or do you think it's a bubble?
I for what I've heard, Trump has not made it easier, right? On drug discovery. So that's what I haven't been going, but it's like a lot of like the what do you call
Supposedly
it?
for a rare disease, it's supposed to be easier because the administration's favoring.
National, what is the name when you have all these centers that you do all these
NIH?
trials? And NIH, I think it was reduced.
By a lot.
You mean NCI?
Yeah. So, but one thing I was gonna tell you guys, I mean, it's all speculative. Before I leave, because I have to leave to this dinner, I found this company just because of the volume, right? I look at a volume because I'm day trading, and I'm like, oh my God, why so many people buying so much of this company? So I kind of dig a little deeper. Obviously, at $6 is all speculative, but the future of biotech is gonna be AI, right? So IXRX. They're not only discovering drugs quicker, they are selling their technology to find drugs faster.
IXRX?
RX. So
RX.
So NVIDIA, invests 50 million on them. They have a partnerships with Roche, with so many other companies that are actually paying for the technology because they are using AI technology to find molecules faster, to get them through that phase faster through AI diagnostics. So they have a few rare disease on their pipeline. So that's why I liked it. So, but they're just not just a biotech company. They actually, they have a technology that they're selling to other companies. So they got royalties of 150 million from one biotech. So I would have, obviously everything is speculative at a $6 a share, but it's something for me like set and forget it. That I bought my first 1,000. If I lose half, I'm okay. As they get closer to the trials, I'll buy another 500 shares. I'll buy another 5. So it's like right now it's just speculative. I like to buy my first lot of a speculative stock, and then as they approach more into develop or sell the technology, and I see that they have a revenues, then it's when I start, adding a little bit more. But it's set and forget on my IRA right now. So take a look.
I'm looking at it.
Vivi,
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah,
Huh?
I know you got to go, but man, I really enjoy you being on here. Really get to know you. Looking forward to get to know you more. Awesome.
Oh no, for sure. We have to connect.
Yes.
So like I even posted on X because the partnerships include Roche, Bayer, NVIDIA, Google iCloud, because now they're doing their own drug research, and Helix. So this platform is just not a theory; it's an industry backbone in the making. So this is the future.
I got it now on my thing. RXRX, great symbol too.
Awesome.
Yeah, isn't that a great symbol? So check it out, see what they have in the pipeline. What you already knew about this company, right? Biotech Scanner.
Yes, I do.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think about that?
No, I like it a lot because what I have not invested in it, but the thing that I like about it is they can sell their technology. That's key, because when you can sell it and then you attach royalty with it,
yes,
the drug makes it to market. I mean, it's going to be cash coming in like crazy, right?
It's an AI-driven discovery platform. So that's there's 4 other companies there, but this one caught my attention because the volume and because they also have a lot of rare disease in their pipeline. And rare disease, it is where the money is, because you want to you want to do an unmet drug. You don't want to do another Me Too drug. But I'm stepping away, guys, because I have now to entertain and bring a speaker. But Biotech Scanner, let's connect on X, okay? Just add me on X.
Okay.
Viv, thank you very much, Vivi. I added you on LinkedIn.
Pleasure to meet you and see you.
Vivi, we got a conference in March in San Diego for my research community. There's like 400 people. It's our 3rd annual conference, but it's going to be in San Diego. I would want you to be a 15-minute, like a TED Talk speech about following your passions within pharma to do like side businesses if you want. I'll message you on LinkedIn.
And then you need to take a selfie at IOVA's headquarters over there.
Yes.
Oh man, they're in San Diego.
No, they're up north.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was a pleasure, guys, and I'll talk to you guys all soon.
Take it easy, Vivi.
Take care, Vivi.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I thought IOVA was in San Diego as well, because I was like, they're in the city called like Santa Rosa or something. Like it's up north. It's a Bay Area, or San Carlos. I don't know, something weird. Yeah, it's San Carlos. It's one of the out of the blue. But what'd you think about Vivi? I told you, man. She's somebody on my radar. I've actually had her on a few times back in the day. I mean, 10 years ago.
I'll tell you, when I meet people in my own industry, we always click. You know, you probably noticed she and I, we click like right away.
Instant. And I knew it. I forgot she was actually I knew she was in the industry. I didn't realize she was actually in sales like you. I thought she was like a consultant or something. Remember we talked off the camera, off air, about how many people in our industry become like robots. They just get stuck in their job. They don't care anymore. It's just They don't learn. You guys, I think you both, I mean, you guys do great. You guys don't need to work. But I think that makes you better in a strange way at what you do. It kind of like me. I mean, I don't think I can not work my
Well,
business because I'm a key employee there, but it keeps me better. It forces me to be a better investor, and I set goals for myself. Not enough people do that. So when you find someone like you and like her, those are ones you want to follow. And this is why I recommend everyone
well,
I know follow Biotech Scanner, and for sure VV as well.
yeah. Thank you, Dan. But yeah, it's to me, it's a passion of mine. You know, well, and even if I'm not in the pharmaceutical industry, I would on my own, you know, research medicine and things like that. But it just happened that I'm doing what I'm doing, making money along the way. So it's perfect.
I was
Um,
gonna ask you, guy. I was gonna ask her too, but we'll have her on again. Biotech, investing in biotech, it's so much. I don't know if it's riskier is the word, because I think if you know what you're doing, maybe it's less risky. But like, there's so many more obvious things. Like, if you don't want to actually do much research, just buy Nvidia, buy Google, buy the Mag 7, and
right.
don't look at it. Like, you don't need
Yeah.
to deal with short sellers on X and block people and all this nonsense if you're investing in Google and Tesla and Nvidia, you know. But when you get down in the weeds with AQST, when it was a $300 million market cap, by the way, do you guys remember when that shit was $300 million market cap? Like, who's laughing now? And we're not even done yet. I think it will double again.
Um, it it is AQST is doing the share price I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is almost mimicking what Spry did on its way to approval.
Mm-hmm.
If you go and look at the
But
historical,
then Spry got that CRL too.
yeah. So here's
Uh,
what happened. It went to right before approved. It got to like $7 and $8. I mean, it's almost
Similar
identical.
market cap, right?
Yeah, and so because they have similar share structure, okay. So I know AQST has a little bit more shares than Spry, but very similar.
Yeah, Spry's market cap today is 989 million. AQSD is 800 something. Like I
Yeah,
told Vivi, Vivi can actually go take a selfie with Spry. They're in San Diego.
yeah. So
I don't think she
yeah,
would.
so
Oh, AQSD, $900 million market cap today. 900.
and what did I predict a year ago?
Mm-hmm. It's almost going exactly as
Dude,
planned.
you know,
It's not
people
time to
thought
celebrate yet, but you're
people thought
looking
I
good.
was crazy.
Yeah.
They thought I was crazy, but this is what happened when you bring 18, 19 years of experience.
Right.
Told everybody at the beginning, I know drug delivery. I
But you
know
know
what
the
it
problem with
works.
people, man. Like, you have to teach. This is where, like, you and Vivi, you guys can take it to the next level, and I applaud you. And when I find someone like you and her, I follow. I might enroll in Vivi's class. Like, you have to teach others to think for themselves, because they're always, especially when you're talking about money, the default of people, oh no, he's a paid shill.
Yeah,
That dude, he's a pumper, you know. And so it's hard to not have that reaction when you're dealing with a stock that's so, like, it just stuck. It was stuck for like 8 months, man. Like,
yeah,
that thing didn't move. That was the most boring shit. And if it did move, it was always on the downside. Always. So it's like, for someone to be talking so good about it, I kept looking at it. No, everything he's saying makes sense. Let me do some due diligence myself. It forced me to study it. I used
yeah.
AI and all this shit to do deep dive. No,
Uh-huh.
everything's adding up. Nothing's for sure, but I'd take my chances. But I think we need to teach people to do the research on their own.
It,
It's okay to be inspired, but
yeah,
not to just blindly follow.
it's hard because I privately DM one of my followers today because I noticed that that he is basically yelling and screaming, saying that, management, why are they not posting? Why are they not
For
communicating?
who? IOVA or AQST?
IOVANS
Hmm.
and REPL, it moved up so much. I'm like, yeah, because they dropped 78% after CRL. But it is really hard, and I want to comfort him. And he was calling out management. I'm like, you cannot judge management on the share price. I said, the share price dumped really badly on Jeff Bezos. You know,
Mhm.
and I used that example today. I said, when Amazon was increasing sales, revenue, and everything, but the share price was just tanking the exact same time.
Mm.
You have to be patient, especially in biotech. You got to give the company time. And then the other thing, the very popular criticism of
Do you think
management.
AQST, before you get into that, do you think AQST was a good example of being patient? Like about a year and a
Same
half, two
thing.
years?
Same thing. It's this. What I'm saying is, thank you, Elvis. I really appreciate that.
I thank you,
Uh,
Elvis.
I dealt with the same crap with AQST. I was a paid shield pumper. Management was horrible. Dan Barber was just a grifter. One of the very popular supporter of AQST turned on me, started talking trash about me, and I mean just the whole gimmick. Okay, but the thing is, when you understand the drug, when you understand the market, when you put all that together, you understand the potential based on your experience and your knowledge. You are steady. These people, they don't have that. They don't have what I have. So I have to be compassionate toward them. You know, I know they get upset because they don't have that. The same thing here with IOVANS. It is so beat down. It's about 90% down
Mm.
from all-time high. But isn't that where you want to buy?
Yeah.
I mean,
But my whole thing is like people don't want to do the work, so they
yeah,
just want to follow you. And okay, you got it right with Rocket Lab. Let me follow him for this thing.
yeah.
It's like if you really want certainty, which you'll never get, but you have to work for it yourself. Like you got to start look at Gavi, look at the competition, look at what's the options are, understand what fucking chemotherapy and immunotherapy actually are. It's not just numbers. It's a fucking people go through neutropenia, cytopenia, like it's real shit
You,
and understand the marketplace. And people don't want to do that. They don't read
yeah.
PubMed. They don't search Lifileucel on PubMed and read like the articles there. Like people need to really start doing that.
I really appreciate you saying that because, and I know you said it before. You gave me credit before, Dan, but people don't realize how many hours I put into AQST.
Yeah.
For me to have that kind of conviction, that's what it took. It took
Yeah.
all of my experience, all of my knowledge, and all of that, and all additional research. Why do
Yeah.
I know every person on the management team by heart?
By
Why?
name, I don't know how you know that.
How do you
It's
think?
because you're in sales. You have to learn people's names fast.
Yeah, and so and so it just takes a lot of work. And let me tell you right now too, on IOVANS, the amount of research that I have done on IOVANS is more than every other biotech that I have released combined. That's how much research I have done because IOVANS is much more complicated. The disease
Yeah.
is much more
It
complicated.
requires it.
Yeah, the mechanism of action is much more complicated. I have to learn all about the other classes of treatment that before I invest in, I
Yeah. Yeah.
had zero knowledge of.
It's a very different drug than AQST. Like AQST is they're using epinephrine. It's a pro drug.
It's so
This is
simple.
a totally new
Yeah.
everything. It's a new
Yeah.
paradigm.
Yeah.
So both require diligence, but this one requires a lot more.
Yeah.
I like what Vivi said. When you find something, to me, it's conviction. It sounds like bullshit to investors, but it's conviction because you find something you like on my watch list. If I want to watch something, I don't just put it. I actually put like $10, $100. Now it's really on my watch list right now.
Yeah.
Okay, what is
Yeah.
this shit?
Yeah.
Same thing with IOVA. Then I've accumulated up to 36,000 shares now. And the more I get, like this comment here, Dan being neutral, do you know how serious I get when I start putting serious money in this shit? I start looking, I'm a detective. Ask Biotech. I've been texting him, hey man, but what about this? What
Yes.
about this thing?
Yeah.
He's like, nah, listen, man. And then I look. I don't just take what he says. I go look. Okay, well, no, yeah, he's right. All right, let me buy more. This
Yeah.
is how I accumulate. Will I ever be wrong? Will you ever be wrong? Yeah. I mean, that's why you got to do your own due diligence. Like,
Yeah.
nothing's guaranteed.
And the thing is, I put out the catalyst. Yeah, the results could be bad and it could tank.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying about IOVANS then is non-small cell lung cancer, endometrial cancer, and all the new, genetically engineered PD-1, anti-PD-1 TIL. You could throw all of that out the window. You could throw the entire pipeline of IOVANS out of the window. It's still going to generate more than $1 billion worth of sales of Amtagvi with just the initial indication by itself. That is how undervalued this company is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I have never seen anything like that. I have never seen anything like that. So accumulation under $3 is amazing to me because I believe that this will be bought out. But if not, it's going to be a $30 billion company eventually because of what it holds.
So roughly 30x from now.
Oh, yeah.
A little more, like 31. Yeah.
So I'm,
I think you should have Vivi on more often. We are going to. This Vivi's welcome anytime. I'm gonna be the one to make sure it happens.
Hey, Alan. I'm glad that you enjoyed Vivi as well. I think she's awesome. But yeah, Vivi and I, we talked before we get on, and it's like, yeah, we click. I speak her language, she speaks mine. We know exactly what's up. So when you're talking about insurance, coupons, copay, priority, prior authorization, hub, all of that is we do that in our sleep. And so when I tweet out something, post something, there's a lot of research behind it. Okay. So, and you should know by now, y'all have known me more than a year now. I have maintained the same person. And then you can testify, have I changed my style from the way I posted it, the way I appear?
No.
Changed.
It's rare. It's rare. And to find like the, to actually go through the research on this stuff, you have to build that conviction. Like this is why you're going to buy on the days it dips versus sell.
Yep.
Back when I didn't do any research and there were no Biotech scanner or other people, it's just like, you start questioning yourself. Is this smart? Why don't I just get out now? At least I still have, 50 grand, take a tax loss, whatever. But no, if you're convicted, doesn't mean you're going to be right. But
yeah.
when my holdings start to get past 10% of my portfolio, I get very serious. Like Elvis said, getting neutral. Yes, I need to be. The more you own, the more skeptical you need to be, in my opinion.
Yeah. And believe me, I have taken every worst case scenario possible. And I just gave you one.
Throw out everything.
Throw away everything. Okay? There's no pipeline right now. Nothing besides MTAGV,
What's already approved. Yeah.
which is already approved and already gonna be producing about $300 million in its first full year.
Even if they just double or triple that,
Yeah,
it doesn't justify the exist. If you use VV's 5 times valuation, right? It's
yeah, it is so
uh-huh.
crazy, and yes, and the cost is high, but again, the cost was high with the roaster with Tesla. You know, so another thing that I have not talked about, the company has talked about, is the company is actually investing in on the manufacturing side, automation. Okay, so right now it's still manual. Okay, in the future it's going to be, using AI to select the best till, all of that. So that is also in the work. And remember too,
Probably using RX unless they're developing their own, no?
So, but yeah, I mean, if remember too, once all of the infrastructure is built, community hospital, specialty pharmacy with Inspire Gene, all of that is built when launching MTAGV. But all the other indication when they come, the infrastructure is already there. And so you see the exponential growth when these new indications come. So, it is, the price is where it is because because investors not counting any of that in, figure any of that in and more. So, but I'm
We
very
have
excited.
to learn leaps.
Yeah,
There's always something new to learn. Vivi, I might join her class, man. We're gonna get her as a speaker at my conference, but I definitely want to because she exemplifies following your passion. And if you want to, I can get you on a spot there as well. But it's not in Dallas; it's in San Diego.
yeah.
Next year is in 27. We're in Austin.
Okay.
Or save our sites, save our
Yeah,
research sites.
that's near me.
I'm gonna have you come to that one. Are we
Yeah.
still serious about the NFL party? I mean, now we started as a joke, but it's gonna get approved.
Dude,
What do you want to do? Do we write a petition to Barbara, invite Biotech and friends, invite Biotech Scanner and friends to?
dude, only if Dan Barber has read any of my stuff. He should be.
I'm sure he lurks. I'm sure he's one of your haters.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it's but anyways, it's good chatting with you. I gotta
Yes, man.
go.
We gotta run.
Thanks to you all who have joined the podcast. Hopefully, we have learned something. And feel free to ask me any question on X or Dan, and hopefully I could give you an answer. And if I don't know, then I say I don't know.
This shit's forcing me to study the other cancer companies. So yeah, we're learning a lot here. All right, thank you, Biotech. Everybody go follow him and Vivi. If you're watching this on YouTube later on the replay, there are links underneath below on X. Catch y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
IOVA.